I wonder what Hamster's up to. Oh, God, I gotta stop holding up on the D-pad. Oh, there you are. Hey, check it out, Hamster. We can finally review some Shin Megami Tensei. Which one do you think we should play first? Are you okay?
Oh man, I feel this sneeze.
Oh, whoa, I am so sorry. I just had some delicious tacos. Okay, fine. I'll let you pick which one we play first. Okay, cut it out. Hold up, what you just throw at me? The Super Famicom game? You gotta be kidding. Oh, come on, yay, let's do it. That's right, and though the last Shin Megami Tensei game I reviewed was Persona 5, I want to take us all the way back to the series beginning on the Super Famicom in 1992. Even though those Famicom exclusive Digital Devil Story games happened first, and even those were spin-offs of a novel, but still, the Shin beginning. It may have seemed like a long absence for the series, but I've actually been playing quite a lot of smut lately, if the new sprite art behind me didn't give that away. Playing what? Smut? You know, like the shorthand for SMT.
Oh dear.
I love smut! Should I tell him? Check out this new smut art I made! It even lights up! That is some really nice smut. First things first, the original Shin Megami Tensei was exclusive to the Super Famicom and never officially released in the West. Nintendo of America didn't seem to think that a violent RPG about summoning demons and killing God would go over well in the early 90s for some reason. There was also a PlayStation and GBA version, both with slightly different art and music, which also went untranslated for similar reasons, but luckily for us though, the ROM hacking group of heroes known as Aeon Genesis stepped in and fully translated the original in 2002, so that's the version we'll be playing for this video. Even though the English patch kind of bugged the guns and bullets for the first dozen of hours. But hey, if Atlus only gave me the privilege of buying and playing an official localized version, I would have done so. And before you say it, Atlus did actually localize a version of this game. Unfortunately, it was the GBA version ported exclusively to the iOS, which suffered from unresponsive controls and became unplayable on modern devices very quickly. So yeah, this game is basically impossible to buy and play without some nefarious means. So as we mentioned, this isn't really the first in the series, but it's the first to carry the new Shin moniker, meaning new, as Atlus sees this game as a retelling of their previous Famicom exclusive entry, Digital Devil Story Megami Tensei 2. There! Are we all caught up? Can we start now? Shin Megami Tensei is an RPG dungeon crawler from 1992 where players can recruit, summon, and fuse enemy demons, turning them into allied party members. Though you and your human companions can earn XP and level up from battles, your demons cannot, encouraging you to take your weaker demons back to the Jakyu in order to fuse them into new powerful demons to match your growing level. This is so cool! You'll constantly encounter new demons all over Tokyo, and by recruiting or fusing new ones, you'll always have an ever-evolving party and strategy, as each demon knows a handful of unique, helpful moves for combat and survival. But to entice those violent demons to join your side, you'll have to negotiate with them by giving them items and Maka to learn their quirks and personalities and answer their questions and threats in a way that pleases them. But if things go wrong, you'll lose a turn, allowing all of the enemies to dogpile on you before you even get another chance to act. Recruiting demons in this game is chaotic, unforgiving, and sometimes quite random. Demons will casually just piss off with all of your gifts, sucker punch you, or insist on outrageous demands. That freaking face of the moon can even have wildly changing behaviors, so trial and error is not even consistent for these guys. But that's what makes it so much fun. You're communing with literal demons after all. But let's be honest, you're emulating this game anyway. So I say take full advantage of those save states and weigh your options and negotiate with a bit of a safety net. But don't use them too liberally or else you might find yourself in an unwinnable boss battle or a doomed negotiation. I did this so many times. Otherwise, your only save stations are in the rare terminals scattered around Tokyo, which act as fast travel points, and the game requires some serious grinding and planning if you insist on saving only at these terminals due to the size and treachery of the many dangerous dungeons you'll have to overcome along this journey. I'd also recommend a guide, considering the game's pretty vague about where you should be going and what you should be doing. It is this way to encourage blind exploration, which is good for the RPG, but it's really cruel for setting you up for the game's many traps. This Tokyo is not a happy place. Absolutely everything is out to kill you, turn on you, or profit off of your needs. This game is empowering when you manage to claw your way up the ranks and slowly alter the state of the world and ultimately shape it as you see fit. Yeah, it's rough, but once you figure it out, you'll be mowing down hordes of demons like it's nothing, especially once you get a gun that hits all enemies at once, and realize that electric magic is more busted than actual cheat codes, guaranteeing that the enemy will be stunned for a turn after being hit, and conveniently enough, the heroine in your party is a pro with electric and healing magic. Combat allows you up to 6 party members that can be arranged from front to back, with less damage taken from enemy attacks the farther back the party member is standing. You can also switch out demons on your turn if need be, or summon new ones to replace any fallen comrades, cause if they die, they're dead and must be brought back to life by a healer. From there, it's all about party management, exploiting status effects, buffs, debuffs, elements, and magic to play to the strengths of your team, and experimenting and learning enemy weaknesses. It's actually quite Pokemon-esque, but happening years before Pokemon was even conceived. Unlike Pokemon, you can't see the remaining health or level of your enemies, and unless you've already recruited that species, you'll have no idea what they naturally resist, absorb, or even repel. You can't even negotiate or fuse with demons above your level. When you do level up, you'll have complete control over your 6 stats, allotting a set number of points among them however you wish. Each stat performs multiple functions, so there isn't really a bad choice among them to increase, unless you keep packing your protagonist full of magic power expecting him to finally learn some actual spells, because he won't. Ever. At the start of the game, you'll actually get to craft your own and your eventual 3 other human party members' stats from scratch. And aside from your protagonist being designed as a brute and the heroine being designed as a red mage, you can really turn absolutely anybody into whatever you want to match your playstyle, and that's pretty cool. I'm still kind of bitter that I threw meaningless points into magic into my protagonist before I even knew that he didn't even learn any magic, but don't learn from my mistakes. So as we mentioned, this world is cruel and unforgiving, with a high random encounter rate with hordes of up to 8 demons at once coming at you in waves of 3 or more if you're unlucky enough. So to survive, you're gonna need to exploit everything you can to get the advantage, like spending all of your healer's MP before leveling up, as you'll get a free full heal once you do. Also, fully heal your team's HP before paying for a healer to treat your party, as you'll save some cash in the long run. Cause yeah, you're gonna need all the money you can get to survive, from buying and selling new armor and weapons at the newest shops, to stocking up on useful items for the long road ahead. But there's another currency we're neglecting to mention, and that's magnetite. Magnetite is the currency of demons, but its real purpose is to keep them tangible in the real world, by serving as the matter that they possess as the bodies you see. So it's obviously a hot commodity among wild demons, but you'll also have to keep enough in reserve for your own demons, unless you want to risk running out and having your demons lose HP with every step you take as their conduit to survival dries up. The game gives you a hard lesson early on in magnetite management. You normally can't recruit or fuse demons above your level, but if you're feeling particularly despicable, you can use your own loyal dog Pascal as fodder in demon fusion to create the OP Cerberus, who will decimate your adversaries, but will also guzzle up an insatiable amount of magnetite as payment. You'll also accrue precious stones while adventuring, and you better hoard those puppies till endgame, because you'll be able to spend them at Rag's shop in order to acquire some unbelievably overpowered stuff, namely the ultimate sword, the Kagetsuchi. So whenever a demon asks you for gems in negotiation, you better just On top of all this you're juggling, you'll also need to keep a close eye on your character's alignment, because your alignment not only holds severe consequences in shaping your ideology and determining your ending, your alignment also restricts which demons can even be summoned or recruited by you. Oh boy, yeah, there's nothing like a few story decisions pushing your alignment over the edge, tipping away from neutrality and towards either law or chaos, resulting in half your demons to refuse to fight with you. Luckily, you can adjust your alignment in many ways, so this doesn't happen often, allowing you to tiptoe down that tricky path of neutrality. Keep a close eye on your icon on the map screen. If you spin clockwise, then you're heading towards law. Spin counterclockwise and you're leaning chaotic. And if you're wobbling in place, then you have somehow managed to achieve neutrality. For the time being. Yes, neutrality means you'll be able to access more demons, but you'll also make enemies of your own comrades by not siding with either of their conflicting ideologies, and you'll eventually have to go head-to-head with whomever you oppose in the final battles. But if you fought for neutrality, you'll have to overcome both the armies of law and chaos just for the true neutral ending. It's hard, but it's so satisfying fighting against what feels like an impossibly rigged system and coming out on top anyway. Seeing through these temptations of conflicting ideologies and discovering your own path. You just gotta summon and fight alongside demons, kill your friends, and the armies of heaven and hell to get there. I am so excited for the story segment, but first we gotta cover the... Keep in mind that before we even go into this, This Super Famicom game doesn't even utilize a Super FX chip to pull all of this off. This game looks amazing! You actually get to explore and map huge 3D dungeons with multiple intertwining floors, some with shops, healers, NPCs, teleporters, traps, and dozens of unique prowling demons that all inhabit that space. Now, I've played quite a lot of Super Nintendo, but I have never played anything that looked half as good as Shin Megami Tensei. Each of the beautifully illustrated demons have 2 frames of hand-done sprite animation each, allowing them to give off incredible effects like buzzing wings, glowing eyes, and flickering flames while remaining entirely stationary. Honestly, one of the biggest drives of the game is the excitement to push forward and discover new demons, all originating from various mythologies, religions, and folklore from all around the world. One thing that's kind of annoying is you can't see down long hallways or across rooms where there may or may not be treasure chests or NPCs due to the limited hardware. You've got to actually stand in each tile and face the cardinal direction you want before you'll fully explore the environment. Or you could just use an online map like a normal person. The in-game mapper spell doesn't even really display where things are. It's only good for the stairs and exits. This is the best looking Super Nintendo game, and I will not be taking any questions. Except it's not technically a Super Nintendo game, it's technically a Super Famicom game. Whatever, the game says I'm in a crowded disco, but I can't see anybody unless I try to bump into the walls, which you can actually do, and it's kind of hilarious. Shin Megami Tensei is 670 kilobytes of pure magic. There's also totally 16-bit nudity, gore, and sacrilege. I regret to inform you that humanity has peaked. After an entirely normal dream sequence involving 2 tortured dudes and a naked lady, you awaken to discover a totally legit email in your inbox from somebody you don't even know, providing a link to download a supposed demon summoning program. And since it's 1992, you have no reason not to trust the internet, so you give it a whirl! Yes, you really get your demon summoning abilities by downloading malware from a spam email. This is off to a great start. So you go out on an errand for your mom, only to find Tokyo is in lockdown as strange events are occurring all over the city due to a recent malfunction in terminal-based teleportation technology, opening up a gateway to the abyss, allowing demons to escape into our world, on top of unleashing a zombie outbreak. And you're just like, huh, that dude just got his throat slashed by a gremlin. Guess I'll pick up this bloody knife he dropped. I wonder what's for dinner. So you kill some zombies in Yakuza with that knife you found, do some shopping, go back home and chat with your mom about school over dinner, and go to sleep. Where you have another lovely dream about saving a girl from being sacrificed in some satanic ritual before you wake up and check if your computer is finally finished downloading that program yet.
Oh, I do not miss those days.
And it's here that you get guided by the sender of the email to convince demons you encounter to join your side so you can fight back and survive this demon apocalypse that everyone's kind of pretending isn't really happening for as long as they can deny it. Yeah, and tell them a little bit more about that sender. Right, so Steven is the genius behind this new teleportation technology, as well as the demon summoning program, made as a countermeasure for the oncoming devastation caused by his own invention. So he's a super genius named Steven, wearing glasses and using a wheelchair with his head cocked to the side. It's Stephen Hawking. Stephen freaking Hawking is responsible for opening up the gateway to hell and programming occult ritualistic summoning spells to commune with and control demons. You think I'm joking, but this is real. I wonder if the real Professor Hawking ever knew about the integral role he plays in this series. I swear it's because of this one on-the-nose reference that all Atlas games since have had a message about any references to any people living or dead all being coincidental. Like sure, Atlas, sure. So the next time you go back and check on your mom, you'll discover that she's actually an imposter because a demon has already killed her and has been wearing her skin like a suit in hopes of earning your trust and killing you as well. Holy crap, this game's violent. It even has the nerve to give you this horrifying fourth wall breaking save and quit message, claiming that you're not escaping by turning off the game and that the demons are always around you. Good night. And you wonder why this was never translated? Anyway, you meet up with the 2 guys from your opening dream sequence and team up to survive this all-out war between 3 emerging factions resulting from the waves of creatures of undeniable demonic origins spilling out into the world. The US military, whom declares martial law in Tokyo in hopes of containing the disaster, a Japanese militia working alongside the demons, and an underground resistance led by the heroine you saw in your dreams. There's also this weird thing with your companion's girlfriend who happens to have the same name as the heroine and just gets you all turned around as you're trying to find her and make sure everyone you know is safe during the chaos, throwing you into the mix of these 3 military parties, accidentally getting you involved in the mess from a stupid misunderstanding. For the sake of clarity, the female companion leading this third group is known as the heroine. The male companion with the girlfriend crisis is known as the law hero, and your other male companion is known as the chaos hero, referencing their personal conflicting ideologies. So the heroine gets captured by a tyrant named Gatao leading the Japanese coup in hopes of ending her revolution with a public execution, which is where your party appears to save her. And since we're in Japan, it's carried out by a crazy woman named Yuriko who claims to love the protagonist and will stop at nothing to cut his ties to the heroine that he's fated to be with, supposedly, so she can have him all to herself. Yeah. She's also the naked lady from the first dream sequence, by the way, in case you were thinking I was making that up. This whole story sounds like we're making it up, but I swear it only gets crazier. So you'll have the opportunity to side with any of these 3 factions, but a neutral player will end up fighting Gotao and the American ambassador Thorman, who reveals himself to actually be the Norse god Thor in disguise, launching nuclear ballistic missiles in order to wipe Tokyo off the map. Now remember that this is the early 90s, and as you hear about those incoming nuclear missiles, you are given free control to try and run or hide as a big countdown flashes over your vision. And of course, there's nothing you can do to avoid your imminent demise. It's legitimately terrifying, even 30 years later. Right before you and your friends all get vaporized, the heroine sacrifices herself to warp the 3 heroes away to what's known as the Diamond Realm, where you'll reconvene with your party members and lost demons in order to build up your strength and prove your ability to survive the new world, which upon exiting, the 3 heroes discover that they're warped back to Tokyo after the nuclear holocaust, 30 years later, ironically enough. That's actually kind of weird considering it's been 30 years since the game first released, making the destroyed ruined Tokyo modern day for us. Anyway, you'll discover some pretty big changes happened in the last 30 years. 1, all of your money has become worthless as the new currency has been adapted after the destruction of the city. Tough break. 2, luckily some humans managed to survive and have made new lives for themselves by finding safety, supplies, and following all sorts of weird, twisted belief systems to help them get by. And 3, unluckily, all the demons survived as well, and have overrun the ruined Tokyo, as well as the rest of the world. Don't you just love a good RPG that lets you struggle with all your might to be a hero and save everyone, but inevitably you're doomed no matter what you do? Yep, so anyway, 2 cult-like belief systems have also survived the test of time and have now become 2 massive rivaling nations, the God-fearing, law-abiding Messians, and the chaotic survival of the fittest clan known as the Ring of Gaia. Both parties are polar opposite extremes of order versus anarchy. The Messians are constructing a massive cathedral to be used by God to bless his chosen people and purge the world of all of its sinners, and the Gaians are aiming to summon Lucifer from the abyss to rain down hell upon the Messians and cripple their plan to unite under God's iron fist and instead create a world of pure freedom. You're also hearing screams and feeling the pain of a woman who isn't really there in this new future, and after freeing a telepath known as Psychodiver from the Gaian prisons, you're told that your soul has been intertwined with another's, and you're feeling her pain and hearing her screams. Psychodiver thanks you for freeing him by helping you find this woman locked up in a Messian prison and allowing you to enter her mind and free her from her psychotic torment by killing the demon who's made a deadly domain inside her subconscious. We are 2 apocalypses in and this game is still out crazying itself every minute. So after saving her, you realize that she's the heroine, but not the same one you knew. In the flesh, she's the reincarnation of the heroine who died saving you 30 years ago, with only vague recollections of her former memories about you. She abandons the Messians to journey alongside you, knowing that you must be the key to her destiny. And any bilingual fans should have already seen this coming, considering the title Shin Megami Tensei directly translates to New Reincarnation of the Goddess. And then we start losing party members. The Chaos Hero began as a bullied weakling who is now so obsessed with strength that he steals your strongest demon and fuses himself with them in order to become a powerful demi-fiend and follow the Ring of Gaia. And from then on, he's an anti-hero at best, unless you don't support Gaia yourself, making him your enemy. I'm still bitter about him stealing my Stonka. And the Law Hero's story gets even nuttier. He gets abducted by a creepy butler known as the Black Baron in order to satiate the psychotic demands of the young Alice, whom he serves alongside the Red Baron in Roppongi, a city that's claimed to be the safe haven for people free of demons. But once the Barons are defeated, it's revealed to be actually a city of the undead, siphoning the spiritual energy out of its inhabitants in order to maintain its demonic repelling barrier, all for the sake of appeasing a demented little demon girl. Oh, and the Law Hero's girlfriend can actually be found here, turned into one of those undead body Conians. But hey, whatever, he's dead anyway. at least for now. Yeah, because apparently his soul is stolen away by the Messians, however that works, who somehow resurrect him as their own literal Messiah to guide them on their holy mission, where he's also considered your enemy if you are not allied with the Messians. Both try to convince you to join them or suffer the consequences, leaving the player to decide their own ideals and courses of actions for themselves. But regardless of which enemies you've made, Tokyo's about to get hit with its third apocalypse, but not before we all take a trip to Disneyland! I swear, he's not joking. You literally go to Tokyo Disneyland, renamed Tokyo Destinyland, in order to avoid the wrath of the mouse. But this park is even guarded by the mighty Cerberus, as in your dog that you fused into a demon, you heartless monster. But if you didn't fuse him, you'll never learn that he's what's become of your loyal pooch Pascal. Instead, the last time you ever see of him is his body being vaporized away by your very first teleportation terminal. Mickey and Donald were both originally supposed to be demons you encountered in this area, and I am still shocked that with everything in this game that people could get offended by, it was Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck that pushed things over the edge. But anyway, the Messians complete their cathedral to the God of Law, which acts as an ark to its followers while they summon God's will to flood the rest of the entire world, leaving only those inside the great cathedral at the time to survive this most recent apocalypse. Both Law and Chaos Hero made it inside and commandeered cordoned off territories of the cathedral for their few remaining followers to use as a base of operations, locked in a stalemate against the other forces, and you'll only be allowed inside each base assuming you're not directly opposing them. So you make friends with the turtle, explore the flooded Tokyo to search for sunken treasure, and slay the tyrant Beelzebub. This game's the best. Before eventually braving the enormous cathedral in order to support your chosen side in battle and either slay or join the Messiah angel Michael, his servants Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel, along with the Law Hero, as well as slay or join the Gaian Lord Asura, his servants Astaroth, Ariok, and Surtur, and of course the Chaos Hero. But in order to achieve balance and regain neutrality, you must overcome both forces. You'll also find out that Eureka was actually the demon Lilith, and that you two were implied to be the reincarnations of Adam and Eve, which is kind of why she pursued you so fanatically up to this point, until you kick her teeth in alongside your other predestined girlfriend. Fate is weird. If you manage to maintain neutrality throughout this game and defeat both Michael and Asura, then you'll meet Taishang Lao Jun, who thanks you for your perseverance in maintaining balance and allowing humanity to pursue a new future built by neither reliance on God nor demons, but by the hands of people themselves. This was nuts! It's the most unabashedly insane story that just keeps one-upping itself, somehow mixing all religions and mythologies together and creating an impactful narrative between the madness. Forgive me for laying it all out for you like that, but considering you'll probably never play it, I felt obligated to share this with you. I just experienced the most indescribable roller coaster of a game, and I don't have anybody to talk to about it! Dude, remember your mom being a demon wearing her corpse? Dude, remember Alice and Roppongi? Dude, remember the Black Baron reaching his arms through the menu to abduct and murder your party member you've had for the entire game? Dude, remember how Stephen Hawking survived all 3 apocalypses and transcended time and space to become an immortal ethereal entity? No, that actually happens. I love this game. This soundtrack is incredible, and we're not even listening to it. Long story. So apparently the original Super Famicom soundtrack is owned by JVC Kenwood Victor Entertainment Corp., which doesn't even know that they own the game, considering it's not even listed in their own discography, by the way. And because they're a bunch of greedy sticklers, they restricted the entire soundtrack on YouTube. Instead, we're listening to the remade soundtrack for the PS1 release, which isn't quite as good as the Super Famicom, but at least it's not this horrendously garbled GBA soundtrack. When somebody says long story, they usually don't mean sit down because I'm about to barf paragraphs. Just look up the Super Famicom soundtrack online and thank me later. Just play the game and thank me later. Take this from a guy who will tell you that the Super Nintendo has one of the greatest libraries in gaming history. Shin Megami Tensei is easily one of the best games on the console. Get this, if you activate a Nintendo Switch Online account for a Japanese profile, you'll have access to play not only Shin Megami Tensei on Super Famicom, but also SMT2 and SMT IF, albeit in Japanese, of course. Wait, so if you have NSO, doesn't that technically mean that you already own access to the games and have the right to emulate and modify that software elsewhere? Like, I don't know, maybe the Super Nintendo Classic? Come on, Atlas, I know you have the translated files, just bundle them and release them already, and preferably not exclusive to ISO this time. Sama Nekaraba, Nihongo o Hansu, ho ho o Manabu, Hitsuyo ga Haramasu, Shinai de Kudasai. The positive gamer in me managed to negotiate a 9 out of 10 for Shin Megami Tensei. It's a great retro game that actually gets better with the use of modern save states and online maps. Even though Atlas won't take your maca for it, if that day ever comes, jump on it. The critical gamer in me has no conflicts in alignment, rating Shin Megami Tensei an almighty 10 out of 10. Yes, it's that good. The graphics are incredible, the soundtrack is intense, the story is absolute madness, and the gameplay is innovative, deep, and satisfying. If you're able to get your hands on it, I couldn't recommend it higher. But what do you think? Tell us how your positive and critical sides rate Shin Megami Tensei in the comments below. But if you're letting this masterpiece slip by you just because it's a 30-year-old Super Famicom exclusive, and you're just playing with yourself. Actually, that's a really good point. You probably should. I am gonna be doing commissions very soon on some parlor work, so keep an eye out for that. Just message me on Twitter or Discord or something if you're interested. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe for more, and use the links in the description to nominate your own episode. And thank you to all of our Patreon members, Aspen, Arrow, Sid, Genio, and Laura. Booyah!